Hello guys, welcome to the world of English exams. Today's video is going to be about one of the most commonly repeated question types in IELTS listening test, which is note completion. We are going to understand the in and out of this question type, and we shall see many useful tips and instructions that you have to follow while answering note completion. And almost in 99% of the listening tests, you will get to see note completion question type. So you have to focus on this and understand every single detail. And before I begin the video, let me tell you that we have also given another video which describes the overview of the listening test, in which I gave you the general instructions to be followed while attempting the test. And since the listening test is common for both academic and general training modules, both the test takers have to pay attention to each and every detail that we are going to discuss. So if you are looking to cover this question type, then definitely do watch the video till the end. On that note, let's start today's video by understanding the format of the IELTS test. So basically the test is divided into 4 equal divisions. I say equal because the scoring pattern is the same. So out of a band scale of 9, you would be scored individually for listening, reading, writing and speaking. Each of these tests is rated individually out of 9, and then the average or the mean of all these scores are taken, and that is what we call your average band score. So in the listening test, we are going to understand how the pattern of scoring is for both academic and the general training tests. So there is something called raw score to band score conversion. Let me talk a minute about this. Raw score is the number of marks that you score out of 40. So there will be a total of 40 questions in the listening test, which are divided into 4 sections, and each section would contain 10 questions. Section 1 contains 10 questions from 1 to 10. Section 2 starts from 11 and ends at 20. Section 3 begins from 21 and ends at 30, and the final section also contains 10 questions from 31 to 40. In between these sections, you will be given half a minute of time to check your answers, and internally also there would be gaps of time to read the question. So except for section 4, you don't need to read all the 10 questions at once, because time interval will be there in between the questions to read them. Then the band score conversion table, which I was talking about, will tell you what each and every band point or each and every mark corresponds to. For example, if you are scoring between 39 and 40, then your band score would be 9. Similarly, if you are scoring between 37 and 38 out of 40, then the corresponding band score would be 8.5, like that. So similarly, you have a conversion table for reading as well, but what is important to understand here is that the table differs from academic to general, but that such difference is not there for listening. For writing and speaking, however, you have set band descriptors based on which your score will be given. So this is how the IELTS test is divided, and listening, reading and writing tests would be conducted on one day, whereas the speaking test would be conducted on a different date. But this case is not with the computer delivered test. If you are taking the test on a computer, then all the 4 parts of the test would be completed within a single day. That is the advantage that the computer delivered test has over the traditional paper based method of testing. Now let's see what are the various types of questions in listening. So we have multiple types of questions in listening, such as note completion. In this type of questions, several notes will be given to you, and you need to complete that by understanding the audio. So this is what we are going to cover in this video. So the second type of questions are called sentence completion, which is more or less similar to note completion. So both these categories come under fill in the blanks. Then there is flowchart completion. The name itself suggests that a flowchart depicting the various stages in a process will be given, and you are supposed to listen to the audio and fill the flowchart. Then we have diagram labeling. A figure will be given and an illustration will be seen, and by listening to the audio you need to label the various parts in a diagram. Then multiple choice questions will be there, and multiple choice questions are of 2 types, where you have to select one option, and multiple choice questions in which you have to select 2 right options. So you have to read the instructions very carefully, and we have also released a video which tells you the complete information about multiple choice. It is already on our YouTube channel, World of English Exams. So do check it out. Then proceeding to the next question type, it is matching. So you will see that the information is divided into two categories, and you have to match the two categories together into one sentence, or you need to match the related pieces of information into one complete sentence. That is called matching. Then there is a map labeling. So you will be given a layout of an area, let's say a university sports center, or a theater or a museum or something like that, and you're supposed to label the various parts of a map by listening to the audio. Then finally there is table completion. You will see that a tabular column will be given with various blank spaces. This is one of the subsets of fill in the blanks, and you need to listen to the audio and fill the table. So these are the various types of questions that you see. And now we shall focus on understanding what exactly is note completion and what are some of the essential points that you have to remember while answering note completion questions. So typically this is how the question would look like. You will see that there are set number of questions. I have chosen the first part of the test. That's why I can see section 1 from questions 1 to 10. And below that you can see complete the notes below. So this is an indicator that it is note completion. Then the next instruction, whatever you're seeing, is the most important one here. No more than 3 words and or a number. So here this is the instruction which most people get confused on, and they land in the incorrect answer. I would like to take a minute to tell you what exactly is meant by this instruction and how you can infer and decipher the meaning of it. So let's see that. So this is the slide on which I am going to tell you about the word instructions. You will see two different kinds of word instructions. The first one says only words. The second one says words and numbers. So you have to be very careful when reading the instructions, because they will give you an indirect clue that will help you immensely in getting the answers correct. So the first instruction says one word only. So the answer has to be written in one word. Now even if you hear two words, you have to see which word has to be omitted or which word has to be excluded and which one should be the correct answer. So you have to gauge the right answer depending on the word count. Similarly, the next one is no more than 2 words. So here they have set an upper limit, or the maximum number of word limit, that is 2. So you can write a minimum of 1 word and a maximum of 2 words. That's it. You can't go to the third word. Then moving on to the next instruction, no more than 3 words. So here, just like in the above instruction, the number of words are to be 3. That means not essentially are all the answers 3 words. So some of them can be 1 word, some of them may be 2 word answers, and some of them can be 3 word answers. So the upper limit for writing the answer is 3 words. Then these are the instructions pertaining to words only. However, if the combination is words plus numbers, then you have to be very careful and vigilant. So the first instruction is one word and or a number. So in addition to one word here, you may also write a number, or you can also write the answer in the numerical form. That is meant by this instruction. I repeat, you can write the answer as one word plus one number, or just one number. So these are the 3 possibilities if you have the instruction one word and or a number. Then if it says no more than 2 words and or a number, so you can write 2 words plus one number, or just one number, or one word plus one number. So you have multiple combinations. Now talking about the instruction which we saw here, no more than 3 words and or a number. Can you see that? So I have clearly demarcated it as word instructions. So the word instructions say it is no more than 3 words and or a number, which means you can write a maximum of 3 words plus one number. So here lies the hint. You definitely have to write one answer as a number. At least one answer will be a number. You have to understand what it is, and then you have to listen to the audio. Clear? So I hope that this instruction is very, very clear to you. If you wish to re-listen to this, please pause it at this point of time, listen to that, and later you can go on with the instructions. Then you can see the title of fill in the blanks. For note completion specially, this is the very important part. You have to underline the title, because the title is going to be a significant factor in directing you towards the end of the conversation. So how do you know if the conversation is progressing from one answer to another? That is only because of the title. So you have to be careful while reading it. Then the next one we have is side headings. You can see that there are many side headings like extra benefits, qualities required, and all that. You have to pay attention to that because these are the directions provided to you. Now we can see note completion mainly in two sections, that is section 1 and section 4. So there is a difference when you look at note completion in section 1 and section 4. When you are listening to this question type in the first section, you will see that there are certain time gaps between the questions. You will not hear the audio for all the 10 questions at once. You will see that the audio will pause in between. Let's say you will first hear from question numbers 1 to 4. Then you will hear an announcement that now you have some more time to look at the instructions and questions for 5 to 10. Then you will again re-listen the audio. So, but that case is not there for section 4. This is a classic example of that. You can see that the title is complete the notes below, and the word instructions are one word and or a number. So if you have followed the video so clearly so far, you will be understanding that this instruction means you can write one word along with a number or only one number. So definitely the clue is that at least one answer would be a number. Then you can see the title, that is the underground house, and the side headings, that is design, special features, environmental issues. So these are the factors which will tell you when the audio is going from one section to another section. So this is the brief overview of how note completion questions should be analyzed. Now while answering and while you are preparing for the test, you might have to follow some tips. So we will conclude the video by looking at the tips, and I hope so far everyone is clear with the instructions and the information which is provided to you. So let's move on to understanding some key tips to answer note completion. Note the keywords properly. So when you are reading the question, let's say you are reading about the underground house, let's look at the keywords. So the keywords are the significant ones, the main words which will help you to get the gist of the sentence. For example, in the first question, that is question number 33, you're able to see the south facing side was constructed of 2 layers of. So they are talking about a south facing side. So that will be one of the keywords, and constructed of 2 layers. So that will be one more keyword. 2 layers of something. So it is talking about a material with which the south facing side was constructed. So these are the 2 keywords: south facing side, 2 layers. Then let's move on to the next one. A layer of foam was used to improve the dash of the building. So here the keywords will be a layer and foam, improve dash of the building. So building will also be one more keyword. So if you listen to the related context, then you can see that you can get the answers pretty much quicker than what you could without underlining the keywords. Then moving on to the next one, to increase the light, the building has many internal mirrors and dash. So the keywords here will be to increase, light, building, internal mirrors. So there are 2 things which will be heard. First one is mirrors internally, and the second one is what you have to grab the answer. So that is the answer. Then moving on to the next question. In future, the house may produce more dash than it needs. So the keywords are future, house, produce, more amount of dash. So definitely you are going to look out for a noun. Let's say more light or more energy or more heat. It can be something. Then it needs. So needs also will be a keyword. Of course, you should not expect to hear the same words. You might hear synonyms for them. You have to be very careful while looking at the options. Then next one is recycled wood was used for the dash of the house. So recycled wood is one keyword. Used, then house. So what is the purpose of using recycled wood? So that is the question. The next one, the system for processing domestic dash is organic. So organic is nothing but it is not polluted by chemicals. It's a very natural method. So the system for processing domestic is nothing but which belongs to households. So then moving on to the next question, the use of large quantities of dash in construction was environmentally harmful. So the keywords here are large quantities, then environmentally harmful. Then the last question, but the house will have paid its environmental debt within. So here within suggests that the answer would be a number. So within so many months, within so many weeks, within so many years. So that's how you have to interpret the answer. This is called prediction. So you're predicting the answer even before you hear the audio, and this is how you have to read the questions. Now let's move on to the next tip. Look at the instructions carefully for the number of words. Of course we have done that, and we have also analyzed that the word instructions can be permitted to words, or it may be also extended to numbers. Then underline the headings and side headings. So this is a key point. Once again, you have to underline the headings and side headings to follow the flow. And that too, while underlining, you should also predict the answer and look for synonyms. That is an added benefit. Then the audio will be played once only. So when you're practicing, do make sure that you're listening to the audio just once and you're writing it. You can just improve with time and practice. You don't need to re-listen to the audio, or you should not be pausing the audio as well, because that's what is the main important feature of listening. The audio will not be replayed, so neither it will be paused. So you have to pay attention to every single word that you listen. Of course there will be a lot of unnecessary or non-essential information that you will get to hear. Of course you don't need to pay close attention to that, but just be sure that you are understanding the context of what the speaker or speakers are talking. Then the answers for note completion will be heard in a sequence. You need not worry too much about it, because even if you miss one question, you know that if the answers are in a sequence, so you focus on the next question. Don't worry too much about that answer which you have left. And one more added asset while writing the listening test is that there is no negative marking. So you can go ahead and you can write the answer completely. Even if you are unsure of it, if you are not sure that this is the right answer, do take a guess. There is nothing wrong with it. Then the last tip is listen to the conversation completely before confirming the answer. This is a very important point, because often the answers would be changed immediately. So you have to be very, very attentive and careful while listening it. Listen to the context completely, and just because it is fill in the blanks, you should not neglect it. Okay, you have to practice it thoroughly, and the more confident you are with it, the better you will score, and you know that each and every mark counts for your band score. So having said all this, I hope you have understood how to follow note completion questions. So if you found this video useful, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel World of English Exams. And we are really striving hard in coming up with these videos, guys, and your constant support and praise is what keeps us going. So please do leave a comment if you really like the video, and we are looking forward to receiving your comments on this. Thank you very much. Until I see you with the next video, which is about table completion question type. Thank you so much for your time in listening, and happy preparation, guys.